what I'm about to show you is the reason why I'm mowing this Multiflora Rose down. Now that's going to look extreme after we get this stuff mowed out, and you're going to see that in the video. But I want to demonstrate how thick and non-productive this Multiflora Rose can do. And it's not a bedding area, it's not a food source, it's just a waste of space in your timber, and it takes the nutrients out of the rest of the forage to grow the trees and whatever. And I'm going to carry this 3D deer back in here, and I'm going to show you how tough it is to get in here. Now this gives you an idea how thick that stuff is. The deer can't get in there. Humans can't walk in there. The deer aren't going to bed in that stuff. But this sort of dramatizes why I'm cutting this out. That way when you see the after results, you're not going to say, oh, you did something drastic. Yeah, I did. I got rid of an invasive species that is gone unchecked, and it's taking up vast area. I will leave some, but some land management has to occur. So that's what you're going to see here in this video. This is the before. Like I said, the trails go around this. They don't bed in this. We'll come around this way. As you can see, the trails are going down through here. They completely avoid this entire area, which has no food source, and it'll just keep encroaching. The deer won't bed in there, and there's a 3D deer in there. You can't even see it. But don't get the illusion that it's going to hide in there, because it's not going to hide in there, because it's not even going to, can't even get in there. So that's what we're doing, and I wanted to dramatize that with that deer picture in there, so you don't think I'm just wasting my time. Because right here, it's just nothing but an out of control invasive species of plant life, Multiflora Rose. So something had to be done to open this area up and give it the deer more areas. Now I'm not going to take it all out, but it will grow back, and I will spray a herbicide on it. But like I said, that's just a waste of land right there. That's out of production. Some of that stuff in there is 6-7 feet tall. And like I said, you can't even see that deer in there, and we're no more than 10 yards away from it. And they don't go in there to bed down. They're not going to bed in something like that. This is over my head, and this is Multiflora Rose. This is how tall and out of control it has grown, and it's time to bring it back in line. Well, now here's a perfect scenario that I'm trying to eradicate. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. The winter sun is coming onto a south-facing slope, and you can see that 3D deer in there, in this Multiflora Rose bush. They're not going to bed there, because they can't. I want the, more or less, the south-facing slope to be like this. Now you got your natural hinge cutting where Mother Nature dropped her trees. Those will stay. And that's opened up in there. The sun gets in there, and there's plenty of bedding area in there. So I won't take that out. But that stuff that's over here is a complete waste of space. It offers no bedding area. Like I said, I can't even walk through this stuff. I mean, it's intense right now. I can't. I'm doing this just to show you the density of it. And it's all thorns too. Keep in mind. And I don't even know if I can get my way through it. But anyhow, you can see how it just covers me up. It's no good. That's why the farmers planted it back in the 1800s, was to develop a cheap way of fence. Now if I can't push my way through there purposely, the white-tailed buck ain't going to do that either. It's hard enough to get this in and out of there. Now I'm going to take you up here a little ways and show you where the deer would much prefer to bed down. Now, that's a bedded deer, per se. It's open enough, it can come up here on this hilltop, use that natural hinge cutting. You can see how Mother Nature hinge cutted her own trees, several of them there. They eventually die out, and that's why I really don't like hinge cutting, because it ends up just being dead anyway. If it's not done right in the middle of the winter and bring the new growth down, you're not really getting a whole lot of factor, because the tree may grow and it may not grow. I understand the logic behind it, but I just haven't bought into that. But anyhow, here's what I want. I want the deer to be able to come in, use that dead tree as a backdrop. The wind would be coming over this hill. As you can see, the sun is directly on it. That's the warmest side of the hill. But as I pan right back over here, we were only a few 10 yards or so. They're not going to bed in this trash. You might as well have old junk cars out in your woods right there. It's just taking up space. Here's what we're seeking right here. Deadfalls, brush, but not impenetrable brush. So when you see what I done, don't go, oh my God, he ruined the timber. No, it'll grow back, but it'll grow back in a managed manner, not an out of control manner. And like I said, I'll take you up here. Here is hinge cutting Mother Nature's way. As you see, these trees were bent over and they continue to grow, but eventually they die out. And but as you look up through there, that's open timber with brush. That's what I want it to look like. As you see higher on the hill, the deer will bed up there. As I have dramatized with this buck, he can bed up. He's bed up high on the hill. Now, with that said, I want to pan around here real slow. And I can leave some of this Multiflora Rose down in here because they're not going to bed there. But you have your clover plots down on the bottom. So they will feed down there in the day and come up here high in bed. But you've got to open this up more and giving more bed space. So that's what we're doing in this video, and now you're going to see the results of what we did. Well, to start off, it's February 14th. It's Happy Valentine's Day to you all. What we're going to do today, being this is an open winter here in Iowa, that means very little frost or none at all, and no snow. Last week you've seen the deer activity on this property. We have a Multiflora Rose situation. It's sort of out of hand, and I got this forestry machine that's I'm going to bring in and eradicate this Multiflora Rose. Believe it or not, farmers years ago, centuries ago, brought this stuff in as a cheap way of fencing, and it worked. Nothing will go through it. But it's evasive, and I've noticed the trails now as you study your land in the snow and out of the snow. It's time for this stuff to go. It doesn't really have any benefit that I seen. I used to see some deer sort of nibble on it, but there's no browse at all on it. So today we're elected to chop it down, and then we'll come back in. We can't get to the roots right now because of the canopy of it. So once we mow it down and it starts to grow back, I will put glyphosate on it and kill it out right in that one spot. And anyhow, that's my plan. So we're going to get on it with the program here. Here's the tool that we're going to use. The trick to that is that blade comes out about 6 inches in front of that deck. That way whatever you cut off gets cut off before it goes under the deck. And so if you come into a tree, per se, it's cutting the tree, then once it gets underneath there, it goes ahead and mulches it. The nice thing about this, you're going to see right along with me, I haven't used this type of machine. I've done the bush hog before, and I had that one rotary cutter, but that rotary cutter that I had, it didn't pan out. My bush hog on my tractor actually worked better. So we're going to try it with this one. Just seen it real time. A rotary cutter, Brushmonster, got what I wanted done. Just a matter of minutes. Real time. Cleaned out that whole area right there. That way it'll let new growth start, and we'll get that invasive Multiflora Rose under control. Yeah, and I want to emphasize what I always say. Deer hunting, land management, 365 days a year. The season that you hunt in is real small. But to increase the odds somewhat, and I say somewhat because it's not a guarantee that you're going to kill anything but time, but at least you're going to done proper land management. And in the future, my grandson takes over the land. He will have it managed. So, not to say that he'll have an easy street, it's just that I'm doing a little preventative maintenance for in the future for him also. Now there's the sun. February 14th. As you look over there on that hillside, it's all in shadow. That's a north-facing hillside. This is going to be the warmer hillside. Just look up through here. I've cleaned out this canopy, taken some of these little 2-inch, 3-inch trees out. It's going to let more sunlight get in here. And what I want, when I'm done, I want an area that looks like this up here, where the deer It'll be long grass. It won't be mowed or anything, but the wind will be coming right in your face, and the deer will have a tendency to bed in an area like this with this grass in here. But with all that Multiflora Rose in there, it really cramped their style. But there again, if I'm up here, there's that warming sun of February. All this is the warm side of the timber. And my main objective is to let it grow back in this nature right here without all that Multiflora Rose in there. One other thing, this is the back side of the pond, and it's, you know, the story on that with the alpha rack and the chicory in it. I don't want what we're doing in there to look as bare as this, because that's not going to be mowed ever. We're just trimming it down now. The food source is here. We got the pond right over the levee. We're making everything as comfortable as we can. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to have any deer. It just means that you're doing some management that was long overdue. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Valentine Massacre on Multiflora Rose. You've seen it. That'll start growing. I'll let this grow up in long grass. Maybe throw some grass in here. Get the sunlight in here and get something growing in there other than an invasive species. Hinge cutting wouldn't have did any good in here because that invasive species would just got more sunlight and grew even faster. So it's really nice to share this informative stuff with you that gets you inspired. And you can see it doesn't take a real high-tech redneck to get this stuff done. Just takes the willpower. And there again, that $180 a day unit, of course, like, that's sort of unfair, but the attachment's $180. But that's your beer, your tattoo, your smoke money, just being spent in a different form. So it's same money, just different priorities. So I got to get at it and get this place cleared off. But you've seen what it started as. Yeah, I'll show you the difference on this cutter. Why, it's a whole lot better brush cutter than that other one I had a couple years ago, which was sold as a brush cutter, which was basically a piece of junk. It never should have been said nothing about brush cutting. All it was a grass cutter. And right there, that's the trick. That blade's a full 6 to 8 inches out of there, above the housing. And that way it lets the trees being cut off. The tree's being cut off right here, if that was the tree. That way, by the time it gets under there, it's already cut off. Plus you got this dozer blade, per se. Not really a dozer blade, but it's pretty strong. And it'll push the tree over as you're cutting it. And you just got to go slow as you cut through it. If you don't have a cutter, a brush mower like that with the blade sticking out of it, I've mowed a lot of trees with my rotary mower on my tractor, but this is the cat's meow right there. That way it cuts the tree as it's moving in. When it goes under there, it's cut off. Invaluable machine right there. And you know, I'm one that's always down on technology out in the field in bow hunting, because you're supposed to keep it primitive. But I'm all for that kind of technology that really replaces the chainsaw and the axe in a hurry when you're trying to get stuff cleared out so it can get some regrowth. On a whole, the timberland in Iowa is in bad shape. Nobody wants to spend the money, nobody wants to take the time to clean them out. Logging's not all that popular anymore. They do a lot of roadside ditch burning and CRP burning, controlled burns, but their timbers are really in sad shape. Yeah, we're going to get in the skidder and I'll take you along and we'll push some Multiflora Rose or mow it down. Once again, good technology in forest management. That Brushmonster.com cutter 319E, you could have a bigger machine. This is getting the job done. Just a few minutes ago, this whole thing, as I showed you, was impenetrable. Now we took it out. I might leave the rest of that. You don't want to get too carried away, but you gotta get some stuff opened up, that's for sure. That Multiflora Rose is so evasive. Now you can see the deer been up here, and not my John Deere. That's a natural deer rub up there on this tree. So the bucks are using it. Like I say, we're going to leave this rest of the shrubs in here, but that's proof that deer have been in here. Just going to maybe encourage them to get in here a little more and bed down, because like I say, you went along for the ride. I'll walk you over here. You've seen what that looked like prior to when you went on your ride, and now you've actually got an area where the sunlight can get in here, start new growth. And by no means do I advocate that mowing that Multiflora Rose down is going to kill it, but it'll set it back. So I hope you enjoyed that. Like I say, right here where we're standing, right here in this ground, was impossible. Nothing could get in there. Now we've opened that whole area up for deer to bed down on that south-facing slope. Yeah, one of the benefits about this also is I've really opened this top of this ridge up, and I could come back in the fall and just throw down some no-till product or some kind of annual food source, and just basically scuff it up a little bit, and you got plenty of sunlight now on this ridge. And this could be an alternative food source right into timber. And as I look down here, the deer been in here overnight, so they're probably going, what the hell's going on in my woods? Trump's in town. Gonna clean this mess up. Let's get back at it.